After 3 incredible seasons, Takagi-san finally comes to its finale in the form of a full-length animated movie. Now, I know I'm very late to the party, seeing as both the manga and its spin-off ended in 2023, but please understand that that's only because it took me this long to physically and emotionally recover from the void this series left in my soul. So what exactly is this movie about? So Takagi and Nishikata are about to go through their final summer vacation of junior high, and the annual problem for their generation is finding a good excuse to be able to spend that time together. That all changes when they found an abandoned kitten at the shrine, which the two immediately grew very fond of. But because neither of them were able to adopt the kitten, they decided to keep taking care of it at the shrine, as they worked together to find an owner for their adorable new companion. Now, even though that's the main premise of this movie, we do have a few scenes that serves to reintroduce the characters and the setting to us before we even got to the cat. The movie itself opens up with them in class. It was raining outside. Takagi was teasing Nishikata about possibly having to share an umbrella together. It was an average Takagi-san segment and a good way to introduce the character dynamic for those who might not be familiar, but for me personally, because of the beautiful classical music playing in the background, the extra animation, and Nishikata squirming a lot more than usual, it felt a bit out of place and surreal. Then the rain lets up and the two goes to play a game called Glico around their beautiful island village. And it was just a beautiful scene, both visually and from the soundtrack. It's one of my favorite chapters in the manga, mainly because, spoiler alert, Taki kisses Nishikata's forehead at the end. But they didn't adapt that last part, which is, I get it, but it's kinda disappointing. Meanwhile, Nishikata was with the boys. Long story short, he ends up volunteering to fill in for Hamaguchi to help out in an event called Mushi Okuri because Hojo was going to Canada for the summer and Hamaguchi would like to spend time with her before she goes away. Nishikata invites Takagi, who happily accepted, hoping that she would get to see some fireflies with Nishikata. Unfortunately, they couldn't find any because they've all died off by the time of the event. The movie reaches peak fiction status, however, as soon as Hana the cat gets introduced. For most of the series, it's always been Takagi and Nishikata doing their thing, with other characters existing but relinquished to the background and barely interacting with the two, at least whenever they were together. Now you add a third element, a cat, and you have yourself a whole new dynamic and a whole lot of new potential scenarios that you can put the characters in. It's like, you know how in Tom and Jerry are always fighting with each other, with Jerry usually outsmarting and beating Tom despite being at a physical disadvantage, but then a common enemy shows up and the two must now team up to beat up this common foe. And these episodes, rare as they come, almost never fail to be some of the best, most memorable ones. It's a similar thing, I think, in Takagi-san the movie, only instead of a common foe, it is a cute little cat that these two must take care of. And my goodness, as simple as that sounds, when you watch this movie, it's so charming, and it left me smiling on my own like an idiot the whole time. They took it to a pet store to buy food and learn how to take care of it. They did little contests to name the kitten, as you would expect from these two. They made posters and games and played together a lot. They gave us a whole 5-minute montage of just pure, unadulterated wholesomeness. And man, all I can think of the entire time was, this is just peak Takagi-san. Just two innocent children having fun, making memories. It fills you with a sense of nostalgia, even if you've never experienced what they're going through. This was peak Takagi-san. And more, because one thing I did not know before watching this movie was just how much I would enjoy watching Nishikata being a dad. Earlier during the Mushi Okuri event, we had a little scene where Nishikata was talking, reassuring a little girl who was afraid of ghosts. Little did I know that that was only a glimpse, a taste of what was to come, because in most of the scenes with Hana in it, we get to see Nishikata go full doting daddy mode. But yeah, this was essentially them taking care of their first child together, and honestly, I could watch another hour of these two being parents. Perhaps even a season? Now I'm going to get into some spoilers for the ending of this movie as well as the manga, so if you don't want to get spoiled, feel free to skip ahead to the next chapter. Alright, so some time passed and they still weren't able to find anyone who would adopt Hana. So Takagi decided to talk to her parents once more, and this time she was able to convince them to let her adopt Hana. So the two were super joyful and they went and bought a collar for Hana as a gift. But when they returned, they couldn't find Hana. They searched and searched only to discover that a family had found and taken Hana. One word to describe this scene: devastation. I'm not gonna lie, I cried during this scene. I still get emotional every time I rewatch this scene. The way the music was just gone as they were walking home, quietly removing the posters they had put up. We've seen Takagi's armor chinked and cracked before, but to see her completely break down, it's devastating. Nishikata, being the man that he is, comforted her during this, assuring her that Hana would be happy and promising that Takagi too will always be happy. Then some time passed, and in the next scene we see them going to the summer festival together, watching the fireworks. This time Takagi promises Nishikata that she too would make Nishikata happy. Nishikata, instead of blushing and looking away like the old Nishikata would, instead looks at her and gives her a nod. Now, one thing that I'm kind of disappointed with in this movie is that we never got a proper I like you in neither the anime nor the movie. I get it. What they said, with the whole I will make you happy, I will make sure you're happy. It's basically a proposal. But after all they've been through, I still would have loved it if we got a proper I like you. You know what I mean? Now, the ending we got in the movie was completely different from the manga, but I think it's great. Personally, I do really like the confession in the manga, but I also really like the way the movie ended. And I'm also really happy that in the movie we get a proper time skip scene with Chi and adult Nishikata and Takagi. Now, was this movie perfect? No, it wasn't. And I'm sure some people were disappointed. But did I enjoy it? Absolutely. I'd even go as far as to say that this movie would still be enjoyable even if this was my introduction to Takagi-san. It has all the aspects that made me fall for the series so much, but at its core it's an adorable story about two childhood lovers, and it never tries to make itself into anything more than that. Even this being a full-length movie has a plot as insignificant as two kids playing with a stray cat. It just goes to show you how enjoyable a simple premise can be when executed properly. Add on top of that the beautiful visuals, which is an upgrade from even season 3, and the amazing soundtrack, which I especially love during the montage scene. It's just an icing on an already deliciously sweet cake. Then when you can also consider the love I have for this series over the entire course of the manga, the spin-off, the 3 seasons and an OVA, and it becomes a culmination and a great conclusion of everything I love about the series. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you love wholesome rom-com anime that makes your heart melt like butter, then consider subscribing because I do too, and it will be nice if we can have a little community of people with cultured tastes. I'm also really sorry I haven't been uploading at all. I promise I'll upload more. I'm trying, guys. I'm really trying. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.